Hello and welcome to Castles and Legends. Today we are in the Lake District. We're on a little getaway to the Lake District for the weekend. Lots of wonderful places we're going to visit and share with yourselves. Our first stop is at Sizergh Castle. It's owned by the National Trust. It's right on the edge of the Lake District, the South Lakes, about 4 miles away from Kendal. The castle has been the home to the Strickland family since the 13th century. Wow. Anyway, it has beautiful gardens and I can't wait to see what's on the inside, so I think it's time for us to go and take a look. Sizergh Castle is a Grade 1 listed building set in a large, beautifully landscaped garden. The estate spans 1,600 acres with lots of different countryside walks available. The castle is more a stately home than a castle, and it's been home to the Strickland family since the early 13th century when the heiress Elizabethan court married Sir William de Strickland. The earliest part of the structure that stands today, with it also being one of the most significant, is the 4-storey solar tower which was built in the middle of the 14th century. This tall tower is quite an imposing structure and marks a statement of the power and wealth the Strickland family had during the Middle Ages, when the family was involved in the wars with Scotland and France. During the War of the Roses, the Strickland family were supporters of the House of York, and the then owner of Sizergh, Sir Thomas Strickland, was knighted as reward. The House of York was eventually defeated by Henry Tudor, but the Strickland family avoided any punishments and in fact prospered under the service of Henry VIII, even though Walter Strickland had become involved in a northern rebellion against the king, known as the Pilgrimage of Grace. Walter was pardoned, and then during the mid-1550s he went on to make significant modifications to Sizergh, turning it from a medieval house into an Elizabethan one. Overseen by Walter Strickland, the work consisted of moving the hall from the ground floor to the first floor, a rebuild of the service block, as well as the addition of 2 wings. The north wing was built in 2 stages and consisted mainly of supporting rooms. Stage 1 introduced a large kitchen with servants' quarters, and officers being added in Stage 2. The south wing was more of an extension to the living space, with a long single-room gallery sitting over self-contained lodges. During the course of the mid-15th century, the interior of the house was fitted with fine carved wooden decorations and furniture, including oak panelling in the rooms. For the time, they were considered some of the very finest in the north of England. At the time of the Civil War, the Strickland family sided and supported the Royalists. Despite the defeat of the Royalists, the family were able to retain their estates, but they were obliged to pay hefty fines. The family remained loyal to James II after he was removed from power, and so the Strickland family went into voluntary exile in France with James II for a number of years. The seizing of Sizergh Castle by the state was avoided by means of a series of trusts, and in the early 18th century they returned to England as Jacobites, but with little money. Eventually, through Lady Winifred Strickland's careful planning and stabilisation of the family's income, a number of additional alterations were made to the house in the Baroque style. The first floor hall needed more immediate and serious repairs during the 1770s, which were implemented by Cecilia Strickland. The Elizabethan hall was replaced with a neoclassical saloon that later became a drawing room. Sizergh's last major changes came about during the turn of the 19th century, when Sir Gerald Strickland, who later became Lord Strickland of Sizergh, owned the property. This included rebuilding the exterior stair entrance with an entrance and interior staircase, as well as general modernizations. A now famous rock garden was also added to the gardens during this period. In the 1930s, the estate was transferred to his daughter Mary, and in the 1950s, the estate and the majority of its contents and the gardens were gifted to the National Trust. We have really enjoyed exploring the rooms and collections in Sizergh Castle. Upon leaving the castle, we found the heavens, the rain had started, sadly, but we did enjoy a nice bite to eat in the National Trust Cafe, and we're still going to try and get a little look around the gardens and some pictures for you. So I'm just going to also say, please do subscribe to our channel to enjoy more adventures with us. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.